So hello and welcome to MorningFile. I'm your host, Emma McCarty, and today we are here to talk about Supercrawl. We are joined with Tim Potocic, the festival director, to talk about their Livestream Series. So to start, maybe just, I don't know if anybody hasn't heard of Supercrawl, but for anyone who hasn't, just talk a little bit about what it is, what you guys do.
Yeah, it started about, I'm losing track now because of COVID. I'm not counting the COVID years, about 12 years ago. And it just started as a small grassroots experiment on James Street North of putting local people together, artists, vendors, and businesses, and seeing if we could potentially draw some more people than that at the time were coming to the local art crawl. And from there it grew. We had huge success in the first year. And when I say huge success, it was 3,000 people. But at that point, art crawl really was only drawing about 100 people. So, 100, maybe 200 people to come down to the galleries and sort of make their way up and down James Street. It wasn't what it is today. But I think the two have worked, together to expand one another's market. And that was sort of part of the idea as well. So we've gone from, 3,000 to over 200,000 in 12 years. It's really, we've been able to expand because of grant funding and city funding and sponsorship dollars, and really being able to sort of expand what the thing is now. We've expanded it since then. So that kind of dovetails into where we are right now. We've been running concerts outside of Supercrawl branded, events all year for the last number of years on top of the Supercrawl Festival, just to keep the brand out there on a weekly basis, basically. And we're just about to dive into expanding that even further. Supercrawl really has its own venue now called Bridgeworks, which we're going to be running hundreds of shows out of, as well as doing, pardon?
I said, that's exciting. I mean, I always picture it on the street, but it's great to have your own venue now.
Yeah, so we're really close to James Street. It's on Caroline Street North, which is basically Caroline and Barton. So it's just down from James a few blocks. And it's 500 capacity. So we're able to do a lot of interesting things in here, what normal venues, we have another venue, but we couldn't do. One of them is the Livestream Series. So, we've been fortunate that we took over this space a year and a half ago. So kind of brought us to a point where we've got our own space. It's a big space that we can socially distance people in, but we could also keep, when people come to do live streams, we're able to use it because we're able to keep our staff and artists safe as well. Mm-hmm. So we've basically expanded from doing a bunch of live streams last year to, a whole pile of different series that we're doing this fall in lieu of running a street festival. There's still an outside chance that we'll try to do something in a park this year, but we're just sort of in the pre-planning stages of trying to pull something together for 6 to 8 weeks from now. We need something that we can manage attendees, right? Because on James Street North, we can't really count people. We can't, you know what I mean? We can't gate it. It's a street.
Yeah, for sure. And you also have to think about, what happens if things close down again, or you have to just have there's a lot of planning involved with the events right now.
There is. Yeah. It's awful. And it's none of it's fun planning. It's all okay, what can we do today? Oh, now we can't do, it's been a lot of ups and downs, and we're doing our best.
Yeah.
So the Livestream Series is something that starts the end of August. So it's already begun and runs through to the end of September. But then we have another series in October and another series November, December. And we're also planning to do things into next year. We have lots of events that are coming together.
Yeah. So maybe, I know you've touched on the live stream series a bit. Could you maybe talk about what events are coming up for that in September?
Well, this weekend coming up, we have, we just had Tim Hicks last night. We have Danko Jones coming up this weekend. We have Lucky Sticks coming up this weekend. The next week we have Basement Revolver, Bad Waitress, a Cadence Weapon. So that's a really great series of shows that's going to happen over the what would have traditionally been the Supercrawl weekend. And Anastasia, it's terrible. I don't even want to talk about this band because I can't pronounce their name. Every time I look at it, I pronounce it wrong. I feel so badly. Athanasa, I think is how they pronounce it. Their show is at the end of September. I could be wrong. I don't know. Do you know the band?
I don't know how to pronounce it. I've written it before, but
yeah, they're a local band. They're great. They're coming to play at the end of September. We have Menno Versteeg. He will be performing at Collective Arts. We have Scratch Bastard coming. Willie Watson coming. Leanne Bettismoke Simpson coming. Dizzy coming. King Park, Fast Romantics, Ginger St. James. That's all in October. Five Alarm Funk, Ruby Waters, Rise Carmina, the Zolas, Elliot Brood, Mono Whales, Serena Ryder, Coulter Wall, Max Paxton, Lindsay L, Crown Lands, Luna Lee, Sunreal, Kenny Yates.
So a lot of them.
We have a lot of shows. Like it's basically every weekend we have 3 or 4 shows coming through a week.
You can pick because you have so many, but what event are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Elliot Brood fan, so I would say that it's like, they're one of my faves for sure. As far as like, bands that are now local artists. We work with Danko Jones, so, big fan of Danko. I kind of like the rock, the loud rock stuff.
Yeah.
There's a few things that are unannounced as well. I think actually I touched on a couple of things that haven't even been announced yet, but we have some really great shows in December that are not announced that are coming as well. So yeah, it's a really exciting time. And I'm really hopeful that we get from 50 capacity live streams to full capacity and live streams, by the fall, but I'm not really sure what to expect.
Yeah. Everything's kind of, up in the air.
Yeah.
So obviously, I mean, you've said the events have already started. One happened last night. What has the response been from the community so far?
It's been great. Like all the shows we've done so far have been, pretty much 50 capacity at every single show. Mm-hmm. And people are really excited to be out. We are instituting a COVID policy. So all of the future shows from September 1st on, you'll have to show your vaccinations to get in. So anybody that has purchased tickets, we're going to have to probably do a few refunds, I think, I would expect. But we'll also accept people if they want to get rapid testing done 48 hours in advance. So we're kind of moving towards there. And we're also seeing now reports. There's some medical officers that are out there in Ontario and Quebec and a couple other provinces talking about vaccine passports. So we're happy to institute those types of things. And it's basically anywhere we are presenting a show. So if it's in our venues, we'll require it. Artists, attendees, staff, everyone basically to be vaccinated. And I haven't had any pushback from any of the artists because we've sent it out to basically all the shows, all the people that we have booked. Everybody's on board with that. Everybody is thankful for that. Mm-hmm. And if there's a vaccine passport, we'll adopt that as well. I really have my fingers crossed that it's a federal instituted passport so that it's consistent across the provinces, but I have my doubts that that's going to happen. Yeah,
that's awesome just because it does make everybody feel so much more secure in the event space as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you kind of touched on this a bit because you are going to be having in-person events happening, but what are your hopes, maybe like hopes and dreams, not what could happen for events in the future?
Well, I mean, I just hope we get back to, being able to run things at full capacity. It's hugely challenging, I'll be honest, like 50 capacity shows without, some of the top-up government funding that we've received through grants for run like that, that we're using in lieu of running Supercrawl, we would not be able to do these things. Mm-hmm. Like every one of them, technically on paper, loses money. like you have a 500 capacity venue and you put 50 people in it, you're pretty much almost, the costs are almost the same as putting 500 people. There's a couple things that would change, but you can't have less crew. You know, you're still having a level of artists that would demand a certain professionalism, and it's not like I can have one tech person run around, run front of house, record the show, do the video, run the lighting, do the video, the video work on stage, and be the load-in person and the settlement person. So you still need all that staff, which, you know, amounts to, you know, we usually have about 10 people on site, staff members, including our tech, for every show. So we have to pay 10 people, you know, to be here to run the shows. And a bunch of those roles are very specialized. So they're not, you know, we pay a living wage to even the lowest level person that works in our venue. So, you know, the reality is these things cost money, and, you know, the more people you have in the room, the more tickets you've sold, the more, you know, revenue there is, the more money you can pay the artists on overages, and then the more beer you can sell.
Yeah. Even one thing that I wouldn't have even thought about would be the more staff you have, the less people that can come in and pay for the seats. So it's just a cycle. Yeah. So hopefully venue capacity increases. Yeah.
I mean, that's my hope. And we were really, when the numbers were really low, like only a month ago, we were really, really hopeful that we'd be up to 500 capacity by October 1st. And that would also allow us to open our other venue for November 1st, because our other venue is 150 capacity, but it's long and skinny, and it's very hard to socially distance people in it. We can't even get 50 people socially distanced in the space. According to the regulations, it's 18 people. That's all we were able to fit. So we've been closed. Yeah, not worth it. So it's been closed for 1.5 years, and I'm really hoping to get that open back up in the fall. I do have shows, and they're all selling very well, and I want to be able to actually produce the shows somewhere. So hopefully that the rules will loosen up so that we're able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. So then I guess my last question for you is, where can people go to learn more and access the live stream events?
Okay, well, supercrawl.ca has all the shows listed. And eventbrite.ca also is where you can buy all the tickets, or if the shows are free, you can register for a free ticket. And then all of the remaining September shows, except for a couple, are free shows. If you sign up for a live stream, we're running a lottery system to pick random pairs. So if you're signed up for the lottery, then you could get an email from us saying you can come in person if you like. Let us know within 24 hours and we'll reserve you a pair of tickets.
Thank you so much to Tim for joining me today to talk about all things Supercrawl. For more information, you can click the link below. As always, for more MorningFile content, you can visit cfmu.ca.